darkness spread across the skies as enormous alien warships hovered above Earth. The Galactic Dominion, an empire spanning 1,000 star systems, had finally set its eyes on humanity. They had conquered countless species before, absorbing them into their ever-expanding dominion. To them, Earth was just another primitive world, another easy conquest. They were wrong. As the first waves of the Dominion's ground forces landed, their commanders issued a single demand: submit or be annihilated. The response they received was not one of fear nor surrender. Instead, it was a declaration of defiance. Come and take it. And so, the war began. The universe is vast, filled with countless civilizations that have risen and fallen over millions of years. Many of these advanced species have developed technologies far beyond human comprehension. They have mastered interstellar travel, created weapons capable of wiping out entire planets, and built empires that span across the stars. Despite this, there is one species that has repeatedly defied expectations, one that has stood firm against overwhelming odds. That species is humanity. When the Galactic Dominion, one of the most powerful alien empires in the known universe, set its sights on Earth, they saw nothing more than an insignificant species with primitive technology. To them, conquering humanity was nothing more than an effortless expansion of their empire. They believed that their superior firepower, advanced technology, and vast resources would make the war short and decisive. However, they had made a grave miscalculation. What they failed to understand was that humans possess an unyielding spirit, an innate drive to resist oppression and fight for their survival. Unlike many species that submitted to the Dominion's rule, humanity refused to be conquered. Even in the face of overwhelming force, humans did not surrender. They did not bow before their invaders. Instead, they fought with every ounce of strength, determination, and ingenuity they could muster. At the beginning of the war, the Dominion forces launched a massive planetary invasion, deploying warships that blotted out the skies. Their armies descended in overwhelming numbers, crushing everything in their path. Cities burned, governments fell, and millions were displaced. Any other species would have collapsed under such pressure. But humans are different. Instead of succumbing to fear, they adapted. Instead of giving up, they found ways to strike back. One of humanity's greatest strengths is its ability to innovate and adapt in real time. Unlike many species that rely on rigid tactics and predefined strategies, humans have the unique ability to improvise under pressure. When their traditional weapons proved ineffective against Dominion armor, they developed new methods of warfare. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to reverse engineer enemy technology, finding weaknesses that even the Dominion had overlooked. Hackers infiltrated alien communication networks, disrupting their coordination and causing chaos within their ranks. Resistance fighters turned urban environments into deadly battlegrounds, using guerrilla tactics to strike at the heart of enemy operations. Another defining trait of humanity is its unparalleled resilience. The Dominion believed that by attacking major population centers, they could break the will of the people. Instead, they ignited something far more dangerous: a unified resistance. Every attack, every loss, and every act of destruction only fueled the determination of the human race. Across the planet, people banded together, forming underground movements that supplied resources, intelligence, and tactical support. Even in the darkest moments, when all hope seemed lost, humanity refused to accept defeat. The ability to work together as a collective force became one of humanity's most powerful assets. Unlike species that relied solely on centralized leadership, humans operated through multiple independent factions, all working towards a common goal. Military forces, civilian resistance fighters, rogue scientists, and even former criminals came together, each contributing their skills to the fight. This decentralized approach made it nearly impossible for the Dominion to crush the resistance completely. Every time they wiped out one group, another would rise to take its place. As the war progressed, the Dominion grew increasingly frustrated. No matter how many cities they destroyed, no matter how many soldiers they deployed, humanity continued to fight back. The aliens, who had conquered countless worlds before, found themselves in a battle unlike any they had ever faced. The human spirit was not something they could quantify or predict. It was not something that could be broken by brute force alone. Perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of humanity's defiance was their ability to inspire hope. The resistance was not just about survival, it was about proving that oppression could be challenged, that no force in the universe had the right to strip others of their freedom. Messages of defiance were broadcasted across occupied territories, reminding everyone that the fight was not over. Stories of heroism spread like wildfire, motivating even the most terrified individuals to take a stand. The more the Dominion tried to suppress these stories, the more they spread. In time, humanity's resilience began to turn the tide of the war. What started as an unwinnable battle slowly transformed into a strategic offensive. The stolen technology that had been reverse-engineered allowed humans to build their own starships, giving them the ability to take the fight beyond Earth. Formerly conquered alien species, inspired by humanity's courage, began to rebel against the Dominion. The once mighty empire found itself stretched too thin, fighting battles on multiple fronts. The moment the war shifted in humanity's favor, the Galactic Dominion realized their mistake. They had underestimated the one thing that made humans unique: their relentless determination to survive and overcome any obstacle. Other species had fallen because they believed resistance was futile. But humans, they refused to accept anything less than victory. In the end, the Galactic Dominion, once thought to be an unstoppable force, found itself crumbling under the weight of its own arrogance. Humanity had done what was once considered impossible. They had not only survived, but they had emerged stronger than ever before. The universe would never again make the mistake of underestimating the resilience, adaptability, and unbreakable spirit of the human race. As the dust settled and the last of the Dominion's warships retreated, the lesson became clear to all who bore witness to the war. You can have the most powerful weapons, you can command the largest armies, you can control the most advanced technology, but you should never, ever mess with humans. The war had raged on for months, with humanity struggling to resist the overwhelming power of the Galactic Dominion. The invaders had superior technology, massive armies, and the experience of conquering countless worlds. They had expected an easy victory, believing that humanity would surrender once faced with their advanced weapons and unbreakable fleet. However, the resilience of the human race had already begun to shake their confidence. Although Earth had suffered immense losses, the spirit of humanity remained unbroken. Every fallen city, every destroyed monument, and every life lost only strengthened the determination of those who survived. The Dominion had underestimated one crucial factor that had defined humanity for thousands of years: the ability to adapt and evolve in the face of adversity. As the war continued, humanity realized that direct confrontation with the Dominion's overwhelming forces would only lead to further destruction. They needed a new strategy, one that would exploit the weaknesses of their enemy instead of relying on brute force. It was during this time that scientists, engineers, and military leaders came together to develop unconventional methods of warfare. One of the first major breakthroughs came from a team of scientists who had been secretly studying captured Dominion technology. They discovered that the invaders' ships and communication systems were highly reliant on centralized control. Unlike humanity, which thrived on independence and decentralized networks, the Dominion operated under strict hierarchical structures. If their command chains were disrupted, their entire strategy would collapse. Using this knowledge, human hackers launched a series of cyber attacks against Dominion warships. They infiltrated the enemy's systems, causing their ships to malfunction, their weapons to misfire, and their fleet to lose coordination. This marked the beginning of a turning point in the war. For the first time, Dominion forces found themselves struggling to maintain control, their technological superiority no longer giving them the absolute advantage they once held. At the same time, military strategists devised new guerrilla tactics that allowed human forces to strike at the enemy with precision. Instead of fighting massive battles on open fields, they took the war to the shadows. Small, highly trained groups of soldiers infiltrated Dominion bases, planting explosives, disabling key installations, and gathering intelligence. Every attack weakened the invaders, forcing them to spread their forces thin in an attempt to counter the unpredictable nature of human warfare. The resistance was not limited to soldiers alone. Civilians played a crucial role in the fight for survival. Underground networks were established to smuggle food, weapons, and medical supplies to those in need. Engineers in hidden facilities worked tirelessly to reverse-engineer Dominion weapons, creating human-made versions that could counter alien technology. Scientists developed electromagnetic pulses that could disable enemy drones, rendering them useless on the battlefield. The combined efforts of every individual, whether on the front lines or working behind the scenes, contributed to the growing strength of the resistance. As weeks passed, Dominion commanders grew frustrated. What was supposed to be a swift conquest had turned into a prolonged conflict that drained their resources. They realized that they were no longer the hunters, but the hunted. Human forces had become so effective in their counterattacks that Dominion warships avoided certain regions of Earth, fearing ambushes and sabotage. The once mighty fleet that had arrived with confidence now hesitated before engaging in battle. The ultimate moment that defined the turning point of the war came when a group of human resistance fighters hijacked a Dominion warship. Using a combination of hacking, engineering skills, and sheer determination, they managed to take control of one of the enemy's most powerful vessels. With it, they launched an attack on the Dominion's primary command center, destroying key infrastructure that had once allowed the invaders to coordinate their forces seamlessly. This was the moment when the balance of power shifted. The Galactic Dominion, which had once believed itself to be invincible, now faced the reality that humanity was not just resisting, they were winning. What started as an invasion had turned into a desperate struggle for the Dominion to maintain control. The humans, who had once been seen as weak and insignificant, had proven that their spirit could not be broken. This turning point marked the beginning of humanity's rise from the ashes of destruction. With every battle fought, every victory earned, and every setback turned into an opportunity, they moved closer to achieving the impossible. The war was far from over, but for the first, humanity was no longer just surviving. They were fighting to win. The war had reached a critical stage. The once dominant Galactic Dominion, which had effortlessly conquered countless worlds, now faced an enemy unlike any other. Humanity had endured unimaginable losses, but they had never surrendered. They had suffered, adapted, and now they were ready to strike back. After months of relentless battles, humanity had learned the weaknesses of their invaders. The Dominion relied heavily on centralized control, advanced technology, and strict hierarchical structures. Their empire thrived on order and absolute authority. However, this very structure made them vulnerable. Unlike the Dominion, humanity was unpredictable, resourceful, and capable of turning every disadvantage into an opportunity. The first major offensive in humanity's counterattack was a coordinated strike against the Dominion's largest planetary command center. For weeks, resistance fighters had gathered intelligence, mapping out enemy positions and security protocols. When the time was right, they launched their attack. Using stealth technology developed from captured enemy equipment, a group of elite soldiers infiltrated the Dominion base. They disabled key defense systems, allowing human forces to launch an overwhelming assault. Explosions erupted across the battlefield as resistance fighters engaged the invaders in close combat. The Dominion, unprepared for such a well-coordinated attack, suffered heavy losses. Within hours, their command center fell, marking a significant victory for humanity. At the same time, human engineers and scientists had made groundbreaking advancements in reverse engineering Dominion technology. They developed energy-based weapons capable of piercing enemy armor, spacecraft powered by hybrid human-alien technology, and defensive shields that could withstand enemy fire. With these innovations, human forces were no longer at a technological disadvantage. They were now capable of fighting on equal terms. As the war progressed, human forces launched a series of devastating counterattacks. Instead of waiting for the Dominion to strike, they took the fight directly to the invaders. Using guerrilla tactics, they targeted enemy supply lines, disrupted communication networks, and sabotaged key installations. Every successful mission weakened the Dominion's grip on Earth and emboldened the resistance. One of the most decisive moments of the war came when human forces successfully hijacked a Dominion warship. This heavily armed battleship, once a symbol of the enemy's strength, was now under human control. Using it, they launched an assault on the Dominion's main orbital station, crippling their ability to deploy reinforcements. News of humanity's victories spread quickly, inspiring hope across the planet. People who had once lived in fear now believed that liberation was possible. Formerly conquered species, seeing the defiance of humanity, began their own uprisings against the Dominion. The once powerful empire was now facing rebellion on multiple fronts. Humanity had not just survived, they had turned the tide of the war. The invaders who had once believed in their absolute dominance now realized their mistake. They had underestimated the willpower, resilience, and determination of the human race. The war was not over, but one thing was clear: humanity was no longer the hunted. They were now the hunters. The battlefield stretched across the ruins of what was once the heart of human civilization. The Galactic Dominion, weakened but not defeated, had gathered its remaining forces for one last desperate attempt to crush humanity. This was their final push, their last chance to reclaim control. But humanity was ready. The resistance had prepared for this moment. Every survivor, every soldier, and every strategist knew that this battle would decide the fate of Earth. They had studied the enemy's tactics, predicted their movements, and positioned their forces to maximize their advantage. There was no room for failure. As the Dominion's warships descended from the sky, human anti-air defenses launched a relentless barrage. Explosions lit up the darkness as enemy ships fell from the heavens, crashing into the war-torn landscape. On the ground, human forces stood shoulder to shoulder, their weapons charged, their spirits unbroken. The battle was brutal. Energy blasts scorched the earth, mechanical war machines clashed, and hand-to-hand combat raged in the streets. But humanity fought with everything they had. They had come too far to lose now. In a decisive moment, the Resistance unleashed their greatest weapon, a captured Dominion command ship, now under human control. With it, they struck at the heart of the enemy fleet, destroying their central command. Without leadership, the remaining Dominion forces scattered in chaos. The battlefield stretched across the ruins of what was once the heart of human civilization. The Galactic Dominion, weakened but not defeated, had gathered its remaining forces for one last desperate attempt to crush humanity. This was their final push, their last chance to reclaim control. But humanity was ready. The Resistance had prepared for this moment. Every survivor, every soldier, and every strategist knew that this battle would decide the fate of Earth. They had studied the enemy's tactics, predicted their movements, and positioned their forces to maximize their advantage. There was no room for failure. As the Dominion's warships descended from the sky, human anti-air defenses launched a relentless barrage. Explosions lit up the darkness as enemy ships fell from the heavens, crashing into the war-torn landscape. On the ground, human forces stood shoulder to shoulder, their weapons charged, their spirits unbroken. The battle was brutal. Energy blasts scorched the earth, mechanical war machines clashed, and hand-to-hand combat raged in the streets. But humanity fought with everything they had. They had come too far to lose now. In a decisive moment, the Resistance unleashed their greatest weapon, a captured Dominion command ship, now under human control. With it, they struck at the heart of the enemy fleet, destroying their central command. Without leadership, the remaining Dominion forces scattered in chaos. As the dust settled, silence filled the battlefield. The war was over. Humanity had not only survived, they had won. This was the final stand, the moment when the invaders learned the truth. Earth was never theirs to take. What do you think? Would humanity really stand a chance against an advanced alien empire? Or is this just sci-fi wishful thinking? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love stories of human resilience and sci-fi warfare, don't forget to subscribe to Infinite Tales for more epic adventures.